人エコガイダーエコロジーパワー
The modern environmental movement in Japan dates back to the industrialization period that started in the 1950s and lasted through the 1970s. As Japan went through this transitional period of its history, a growing number of pollution related incidents kickstarted public awareness of the dangers posed by it. These included air pollution tied to expanded manufacturing activities and water pollution tied to fast growing urban population centers across the country. In response to growing public concern, in 1970, the 64th Diet, Japan's bicameral legislature, passed 14 laws to help fight the growing threat of pollution. Heightened public awareness and concern eventually worked their way into the pop culture of that period. In the world of tokusatsu, the theme of pollution appears throughout various works, starting in the early 1970s all the way to this year's Super Sentai series, Zenkaiger, which featured Recycle World in episode 13. On January 2nd of 1971, Space 8-Man Gory started its broadcast on Fuji TV. In this inaugural episode, the title character is frustrated by the careless handling of the planet by its human population and the impact this is having on Earth's environment. So he sets out to take over the world and restore the planet's environment. To further emphasize this theme, Dr. Gory used garbage and pollution as the foundation for many of the monsters he would use to try to take over the world. In episode 1 of Return of Ultraman, which aired on April 2nd of 1971, the sea monster Susan surfaces from the ocean. He hides poisonous sludge under his exterior algae-like surface. On July 4th of 1971, Godzilla vs. Hedorah featured a pollution-based adversary for Godzilla to take on. Symbol of Justice, Condorman, incorporated the theme of pollution through members of the villain organization Monster Clan, which had smog and trash theme members. Many more tokusatsu hero shows will go on to address pollution or incorporate it into its storylines, but it would not be until September 15 of 2008 that a hero would surface to exclusively take on fighting pollution and protecting the environment. Environmental superhero Echo Gainder. Produced through a partnership between the Japanese Ministry of the Environment, Fine 115, and Kid Station, Echo Gainder was developed as a TV program that could be used to foster greater awareness on how people can contribute to protecting the environment throughout their daily lives. As such, Echo Gainder is written and geared towards a younger demographic than more popular tokusatsu hero series like Kamen Rider, Ultraman, and Super Sentai. This is reflected in the simple stories, character dynamics, and 10-minute running time for each episode. And while the show is superficially simple, throughout the first season's 14-episode run, there are some story arcs that allow the characters to develop and narrative tension to build up towards an exciting conclusion. In episode 1, we are introduced to the general framework of the series, which will serve as a template for the first 9 episodes or so. The story takes place in the home of the Suzuki family. In their living room, there is a mysterious base that hosts the Eco Crushers, Mudana and Hakais. Their mission is to help influence people into contributing to environmental destruction. To put a stop to their plans, the Global Environment Protection Institute sends Echo Gainder from the future to present-day Earth. He has been tasked with a mission of stopping the Eco Crushers and helping present-day people take better care of the environment. To help him on his mission, Echo Gainder is armed with an echo sensibility circuit that allows him to detect the Eco Crushers' attempts to destroy the environment and his ecology beam, which can clean the environment. Episodes 1 through 6 would generally follow the same template. Mudana and Hakais tried to influence the Suzuki family to contribute to environmental destruction, which would trigger an appearance by Echo Ginder, who would send them back to their hideout in the mysterious jar. In episode 7, Queen Death Gaia, the leader of the Eco Crushers, takes the lead with mission planning and empowers her underlings with a ray gun that destroys the environment. This results in Echo Ginder's echo sensibility circuit being damaged and triggering the final arc of the story. In this final storyline, Queen Death Gaia comes to Earth in episode 12 to take on Echo Ginder directly. This runs in parallel to Mudana and Hakais becoming friends with the Suzuki family and eventually Echo Ginder. Together, they will take on Queen Death Gaia and bring the story to its conclusion. A relatively simple show by Tokusatsu Hero Show standards, Echo Ginder is an accessible and fun story that still manages to infuse its title character with the spirit of classic Showa-era heroes of justice, from proudly announcing his arrival to making brave declarations against his opponents and going beyond his limits to achieve his environmental mission. As a smaller production, it lacks the special effects, ambitious location shoots, or fight choreography, but still manages to deliver a compelling enough story and characters that it still finds a way to break through. Enough so that multiple sequel series featuring Echo Ginder were produced between 2010 and 2017. One aspect of the show that is particularly noteworthy is its rocking opening song, which is performed by Masaki Endo, one of the founders of Jam Project. The song's energy, melody, and lyrics are right up there with some of the best Tokusatsu hero songs of this period. Outside of the song, the soundtrack for the show is not as memorable. If you're interested in checking out Echo Ginder, the first episode of Season 1, along with other videos, is available through the official Kid Station's YouTube channel. Use the link in the description below to see what the series is all about.